And that is how we shall be also keeping you informed. For those of you who are in Kampala, do not be worried. Those in Western Uganda, we are still saying do not be worried as well. And not forgetting those in Eastern, we are still saying we are going to be working shoulder by shoulder or hand in hand to make sure that you get the information that you deserve to know. And that is how we'll be also coming here to also still keep you informed, updated of, and also in the know of what continues to make round in the world of current affairs. And that is how we are going to be doing that. And I hope we shall be keeping you informed. And that is how we are saying we must join hands and also really support this parliamentary sitting and looking at it as a taxpayers' money, a waste of taxpayers' money. Because if you look at this, we are talking about 20 billion, but then the demands also, if at all our MPs deliberate well, our demands and our fruits may actually be beyond the 20 billion we're talking about. And that is how we need now to support this, and we must join hands. And our MPs shouldn't also really sit down. And this is actually where I want to make the demand. We are saying our MPs must actually be at the forefront of this parliamentary sitting, because we do not expect other MPs to come also really in this region and take over the debates. That would be quite embarrassing and quite sad. And this is where I want to now ask our MPs, those who are not featured in talking while in the floor of Parliament, we are expecting you during this time to also really shine brighter. And this is where we are saying we want to see the MPs. I wouldn't want to go by names, but I'm saying I want to see all the MPs of Northern Uganda be at the forefront. We want to see them also really on this parliamentary sitting. I want to see them on. I want to see them also really champion the floor parliament, so that also really at the end of the day, when they are deliberating, we want to see the fruits of this parliamentary sitting, because after here, I do understand it will be also removing the other sub-regions, and this will be from 27th, which is tomorrow, and it will be running until the 30th. But really, so many things are going to be happening in here. But my humble request to the members of parliament from this region of Northern Uganda is, I want to see them be the champion. I want to see them be in the lead of also this parliamentary sitting, so that so really they will be also really deliberating, so that so we get the fruits. And other than that, we are going to be seeing this as the wastage of time. And I do not want to also see people who will just go and sign, allow it. I want to see the MPs talking. And I'm going to be keeping my eyes also really on ground to see which MP from Northern Uganda has said what. That is how I will be coming also, so that the voters get to mark them. And this is also really where we are going to be holding them accountable, and want to hold them accountable. So that's also really when they're deliberating, because the duty of a member of parliament is not to bring water, is not to give money, but also really to make sure that they lobby. And this is actually an opportunity that is once in a while also really where we must also really benefit from it. And that is where I will be keeping my eyes on ground from the whole day, and for the whole period, I will be watching which MP from this region has said what. And that is also really where the voters should be looking at such MPs with two eyes. And for those who are going to be sitting down, we are saying we are not going to be allowing that. And I will be also letting the voters know that you did not say anything, so that solely when they are voting, they do not vote for such people. And that is how I will be also coming back to also keep the viewers also updated. And you as the viewer, all you need to do is always watch the show. And that is how I will be in position still to come back and let you know of what also really your members of parliament is saying. And that is how at the end of the day, whether you are going to be voting them for the next time or kick them out. And that is how we are going to be also really doing that until also the period elapses in there. And as we get moving on the show, so many things going to happen. And I was able to also inform me that the Speaker of Parliament, that is Right Honorable Anita Mong, is expected to visit the graveyard of fallen Speaker, that is Jacob Olanyo in Omoro District. And we shall be seeing also her also be part of the team that will be going in. And according to the preliminary also program released, we did see yesterday the regional parliamentary also legislators sitting legislators by publication. Also legislators have been also given 7 days that will be running from August to September 1st. That will be going from today. They will be in Gulu until the 1st of September. That is also to attend and travel at the sitting in Gulu city in there, which is for Northern Uganda. And I want to say, as Northern Uganda, we must be proud that at least our region is also really having that. But then if it goes to Gulu, we still have to support it. We never know, next time we may say let's rotate it to Arua city, and Arua city should also really as well host for Northern Uganda. That would still be good. And if at all we oppose it now, that is how at the end of the day we are going to be seeing it very, very much bad. And after visiting our predecessor's burial site, Miss Among is expected to also be on the same day officially open the medical camp at Peche Primary School and hand over donated items to the same school. And she will be also as well heading to Gulu Primary also school, that is for the prisons, and she will also be there, and there will also be tree planting in different proposed sites and laying of foundation stone by the speaker at Kaunda grounds, which will also host the plenary for the subsequent 2 days. And on the same day, we shall be seeing the speaker also will meet the border riders under the umbrella board of Gulu Border Riders Association, and different women groups as also part of the plan. And we shall be still keeping you really updated and in relation to whatever things she will be saying in any of these meetings in here, and that is where you need to trust us. And at the end of the day, we are remaining committed to keeping you informed, updated, and also in the know of what continues to make rounds in the corridors of current affairs in there. And that is where we are still going to be following it. And remember, all cameras, all eyes are going to be in Gulu. And this also really should be an opportunity. It shouldn't be a point of worry to the legislators from this region. But we are saying they must champion. We want to see them also really be in the lead. We want to see them vibrant, also really so that they own the floor parliament, so that people get to know that indeed Northern Uganda is having leaders, and this goes to the leaders, and that is how my humble request also really to the members of parliament from this region will continue to be also really be. We want to see them in the lead, and I'll keep on reminding myself that I want to see them in the lead, and this is already how the voters as well want to be proud of those whom they elected, and that is also where we are saying the electorates may not need money from you. All they need is you to also really go and lobby for them also so that they get the necessary services they need. It could be in health, it could be in education, it could still be within health, and also infrastructure in there. All in all, we are saying the members of parliament from this region should own this parliamentary sitting. Now, the parliament has budgeted to spend, that's about 20 billion for the sittings that will also be going at 5 billion each sitting, and that is how we shall be also seeing that at the plenary, or what we call the inaugural parliamentary sitting also really will be sitting, that is at Kaunda grounds, that's in the Badege Laibi division, while other sittings already will be held in eastern Uganda, central, and as well as western regions, where we shall be seeing Mbarara City also hosting as well. We shall be seeing in eastern going to Mbale, and central will be going to Masaka City in there, and that is how the regional parliamentary sittings, the inaugural, the very first time also will be going on, and I hope the deliberations also really that will be coming out of this parliamentary sitting will be yielding fruits to these different regions that will be hosting also really these different parliamentary sittings. And this is actually happening under leadership of Right Honorable Anita Mong. And we do also really hope that all in all, we shall be seeing the benefit of this also the regional parliamentary sittings in there. And I will be also letting something know about that. And more developments also to that will also be coming. And remember, the leader of opposition, that is Joel Senyonyi, and the shadow cabinet actually had a proposed plan to also really abandon this regional parliamentary sitting. By yesterday, we did see him also confirming that indeed he is still also standing also in his orders, and he is saying he is not going to be part of this regional parliamentary sittings, because if you look at the 20 billion according to him would have done something big. And when it comes to issues of Northern Uganda, he actually mentioned a number of issues that I really feel are also pertinent but have not been given also keen attention. He says actually this would be addressed by the 20 billion that we are talking about, and that is how he will be standing also really to say no also really, and also ask their fellow members of opposition or to also really shun this regional parliamentary sittings, so that solely at the end of the day we are saying we do not also really want to see the taxpayers' money be wasted, because 20 billion is actually money that is coming from the citizens. And really, if at all, according to him, if they deliberate this money to be used also in education, in health, in infrastructure, that will be better also instead of bringing this also really parliament closer to the people. And according to Right Honorable Anita Mong, this initiative of the regional parliamentary sitting is actually to bring the house closer to the people, so that the people get to feel what parliament is all about. But then the question I'm always asking myself is, not everybody is going to be deliberating, because as an ordinary citizen, even if they bring the parliament in, let's say in Kirabu, even if I live in Oli, I may not also really be in position to still jump in there and also really say something, because at the end of the day, I'm not a member of parliament. And how closer are we bringing parliament to the ordinary citizens in there? That is actually where we need to also really understand it. And we hope that would also really be also really a benefit also to ordinary citizens out there, as we hope so, because at the end of the day, by yesterday, we were able to see businesses booming the hotels are getting full, and the hotels have been classified now. And really talking about the different hotels, yesterday we did see them being classified as the members of parliament suites, as ordinary suites, and that is how business is booming. And with that, we are going to be taking our first short commercial break. And when we bounce back, we still have lots more to discuss with you. This is the KOKOLIRIKO live show on West Nile TV, the Tuesday edition. I hope you are having a wonderful time. And if at all you have anything to put forward in relation to this regional parliamentary sitting, feel free to drop it on our comment section on YouTube. You can as well tap into our Facebook account and also drop your messages in there. And I will be still bouncing back to also go through some of those comments. For those of you who are watching us via X, you can just go in there and tag us, and I will be still in position to go through in your comments in there. For now, we take a short commercial break as we bounce shortly.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region. Vinicius Jr., Lamine Yamal, Antoine Griezmann. La Liga comes to Star Times.
A wild celebration!
The big stars, the tiki-taka football, Real Madrid and Barcelona live in your living room.
Real Madrid, a team of dreams!
Catch all 380 games live and in HD on Sports Premium Channel 259 and Channel 246 starting this August 15th. Subscribe to StarTimes Classic or Smart Bouquet at 36,000 Uganda shillings to enjoy the football experience affordably. StarTimes Football and Limited Passion. West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Right, welcome back from that short commercial break. Hope you are still with us, and our final destination should of course remain 9 o'clock, and that is how I will be letting you know what continues to make round in also really in Uganda and across borders. I will be touching something small about sports later on, and really yesterday we did see also the shocking news of the death of the former England coach in there. And I will be also letting you know of what exactly happened and what is happening still in England, that is in relation to the death of the former coach in there. And still we shall be seeing also what is making rounds in the transfers, and remember the days are getting closer to also the end in there, and I will be letting you know which teams are interested in signing who, and so that also you get to understand what is happening in there. And as KOKOLIRIKO Live Show, our #1 mandate remains, first of all, keep informed, entertained, and educated as well, because we need to cut across all the aspects of life, so that's only you are not left out when it comes to any area out in there. And that is how we plan to solely give you the best information, and that only happens here on West Nile TV channel 477 on StarTimes and on 0073 on Zuku. For those of you who have the dish, and for those who are watching us in Kampala, definitely we want to say thank you so much. And for those of you who are watching us online across borders, because we do have people who watch us as far as in the Middle East, for those of you watching us in the Gulf region, we are still saying thank you so much. For those of you in other parts of Africa, in Somalia, in Kenya, in Tanzania, we really appreciate you so much. Not forgetting those in South Sudan and DRC, we are always proud of you. And we are saying thank you so much for always watching West Nile TV. And that is how we intend to give back to you. And we shall be keeping you informed, updated of what is making news in here. And this is information you cannot be able to get anywhere but only on West Nile TV. And that is how we shall be giving you comprehensive analysis and details also of what continues to make round in the region, in the nation, and internationally in there. And talking about what also is making rounds in the region, one of the biggest story is actually in relation to floods. Looking at the districts of Bongi, Moyo, today you realize many of them have been cut off by floods, where we are seeing floods causing havoc. People's gardens are being destroyed, houses are being threatened also by the rising water levels in there. But we are saying also with the return of the rains, we need to also be very, very much cautious as we enter these houses, because we don't want to see anybody losing their life when it comes to issues pertaining the floods, which may also cause destruction of houses. But we were able to solely see by yesterday, many of the gardens have been destroyed by the rising water levels already. But we are saying, all in all, let's be cautious. Let's move away from those areas, more so those that are along the showers at the banks of the River Nile in the south. So we move to areas of high altitude, so we do not also be part of those whom we may claim. Also, we may also talk about when also disaster happens there, but we're not praying for that. We are saying let's take precaution measures. Let's be very, very much vigilant during this period in there, because by now we have not registered anybody losing their life, but we are saying it is actually risky, and that is how we are also praying that no life is lost in that side also of Madisa region in there, and that is how we are also looking forward to that. And we shall be coming back to keep you informed. Now, let's look at what is also happening still in relation to what continues to happen in Gulu. Remember, all our lenses, all our eyes are in Gulu City. We need to understand what exactly is going to be happening in there. But now we did see police coming out yesterday that they are not going to be allowing any kind of demonstration against this parliamentary sitting. And I want to say, for those who we are planning maybe to do the same, but we are saying police already came out and also they warned those who may also likely be interested in marching to that parliament in there. We are saying that is not going to be tolerated by police, and the police actually came out yesterday to issue that stern warning in there. Now, security agencies in Gulu City have arrested several people solely in connection with the planned demonstrations solely against the regional parliamentary sitting that started also in the city on Tuesday with the arrival of the MPs, and that is how we did see also on Monday. Aswa West Regional Police spokesperson, that is David Ongom Mudong, confirmed also the arrest and said they are not going to be allowing any kind of demonstration whatsoever, the kind, also whatever the reason, they are not going to be tolerating that. And that is why we did see Mr. Ngong also declined to disclose the details since the crackdown was still progressing, and also confirmed that also the detection of national opposition platform party mobilizer, Mr. Brian Muzungu, also Mungu Jaksa, and NUP interim also regional coordinator Sebastian Ongoni, among others. Also, we are part of the group that also were planning to also disrupt the meeting also in there. Now, according to Ngong, disruptive operations targeting also groups of persons planning criminal activities are being done, and they hope also this moves as peaceful as planned in there. Now, Mr. Ngom also held that the security is aware of the planned demonstration being done through social media mass mobilization intended to disrupt the forthcoming regional parliamentary sittings in there. And now, during the Monday press briefing, Mr. Ngom also really cautioned a section of actually politicians against spreading also what we call misleading messages to the public against the sitting, and also those planning to also import violence from other regions, that they are not going to be allowing that. And remember, in Kampala, we did see recently the country being hit by what we call the March Parliament, which also started spreading like bushfire in a rural city, we are able to also really see the security leadership coming it down. In other places, also really as well, we did see as police suppressing that, and that is how the security of Gulu also came out yesterday to say they are not going to be tolerating any kind of mass demonstration whatsoever. The reason, whatsoever the plan, they are not going to be allowing that happen. All in all, they are doing whatever it takes to make sure that these demonstrations do not take place in there, and that is how we did see police coming out to also really warn those who were planning also to have this also the march parliament in there now. That we did have also police foot and motorized patrol have been enhanced, and that is actually what we are seeing in there now. Security vehicles are moving across also different parts in there, and now we are also seeing those on foot as well moving in the different parts of Gulu City to make sure that no person also really comes out to also really demonstrate against the regional parliamentary sitting there. That's what we did see yesterday. And remember the CCTV cameras as well in there. And I hope also really with the spies are all on ground to make sure that nothing happens. And we hope also nothing will be able to happen, because we want to see what also really the regional parliamentary sitting looks like. Because we are going to be seeing it for the very first time. We had never seen what the regional parliamentary sitting is. And we want to compare. We are going to be comparing notes of regional parliamentary sitting and the parliament in Kampala, because after the 4 we are going to be sitting down and look at the kind of debate. Has it improved? Has it gone down? What are the members of parliament saying? What have they done? And what are the outcomes? That is how we are going to be also putting our eyes on ground to make an assessment of this regional parliamentary sitting and confirm if indeed it is just a waste of taxpayers' money, as also really alluded to by also the opposition groups in there, or else it is actually indeed extravagance by the Speaker of Parliament, who also really wants to sort of embellish the money in that. That is how we are going to be seeing it, and we are going to be making an assessment in relation to that. And we hope at the end of the day, we want to see also really notes being compared in relation to the regional parliamentary sitting, therefore, in relation also really in comparison to also really how the parliament has been sitting in Kampala, and we want to compare notes. And I want to assure you that all our eyes are going to be on ground to make assessments, and also really how that will be going on. And now, according to also really the regional parliamentary sitting, we shall be seeing the regional parliamentary sitting on Tuesday with a cocktail of activities, which among others include the visit of the burial site of Jacob Olanya, the fallen Speaker of Parliament and the legislator for Moro, who also will be visited today by the Speaker of Parliament, that is Right Honourable Banita Mong, and that will also be happening, and many other activities will be happening. We shall be seeing also the laying of the foundation brick, as well as also really what we shall be seeing is tree planting by the members of parliament whom I believe should be in Gulu City right now, and that is how we are going to be seeing that also happening. And at the end of the day, we hope that would also really bring at least some bit of development to the region also really, if at all we are going to be also really seeing that happening. And at the end of the day, we want to see the benefit of that also to the region. And we are leaving that aside now. Let's see what also made rounds yesterday. There was a drama as breastfeeding mothers and youth protest in ECOP. Again, it's also really ECOP in Hoima. That is what we did see yesterday. And where drama ensued when hundreds of project also affected persons are gathered in Hoima City on Monday, protesting what we call the East African Crude Oil Pipeline Project, saying it risks causing severe wide-range impacts. That is also to lives, and that is how they did also come out to protest. That also in there. Now, over 150 petitioners, among whom include breastfeeding mothers, youth, and elderly persons from the oil-rich also the Hoima City, Bulisa, and Chikube districts also first converged at the government-aided Kitara Secondary School, over 1 kilometer from central Hoima City, as they plotted to protesting also to the regional ECOP officers, and that is what we did see yesterday. And we hope also really government will be able to sort of listen to their demands in there, and if at all government will be also heed to their demand, then that will be also quite good in there. What really went wrong? Could it be that government did not also really endeavor to also really hear their demands? Definitely, that's what I don't know, and I will be also not also interesting myself in that. But I'm saying what we did see yesterday was actually dramatic, where we were able to see breastfeeding mothers carrying their babies, moving to also protest. We were able to see the elders, what we call the wazeis, also already being part of also that in there. And not forgetting the youth, who are the most energetic and the most also popular, who also really joined hands to also really mobilize against the ECO project in there. But now Hoima Resident City Commissioner, that is Badru Mugabe, said security stormed Kitara SS after getting intelligence also led information that there were also planned to demonstrate against ECOP and also Total Energies in there. But really, why don't we allow the peaceful demonstrations to go? Because many times I feel the constitution is clear. Our constitution is very clear, and it permits what we call peaceful demonstrations, though these demonstrations must be guided by security. But in most cases, we do not also see people coming out to also really protest peaceful. And the last time I actually saw a peaceful protest was in Arua City during the march also against the LGBTQ. The anti-homosexuality also bill also that was also led, and that also led our fruits also to see that also the anti-homosexuality bill was actually passed in there. And I hope, if at all we allow the peaceful demonstrations to go, then definitely we may also really see the benefits of it also being in there. But many times I do not know why security do not allow the peaceful protests to go on, much as these organizers many times right to inform the relevant authorities, but we do not also really see this happening. But what exactly is happening? And we want to understand, is it really a constitutional mandate for people to also really undergo the peaceful demonstrations? Or there are reasons also really for it to be shunned in there, because if at all you look at what is happening with also really the regional parliamentary sittings, then you will be able to realize that many of the times people are actually not allowed to also really execute their constitutional mandate. This is actually their constitutional mandate to also really have what we call the peaceful demonstrations. But many of the times people do not also practice that. People do not exercise that, and that is how we are seeing people's rights being violated. And in the end of the day, you see people in running battles with the security agencies, which is really something quite embarrassing. And yesterday we were able to also really see chaotic scenes in the world of sports, and I was able to see police beating the locals, and that is really where I feel people's rights are being violated. And we did see also that really happening, and I will be letting you know what exactly happened in Bukedia, and I will be touching something small in relation to the recently concluded East Africa Secondary School Games, which actually climaxed yesterday, and I will be letting you know who the champions are of the different also categories in there. And as we move on, still in Hoima, Christopher Pio, a representative of the PAPS, informed the RCC that they have not received any response from the government, and Mugabe also responded saying, if you have court case and the court has not responded, also had you please come over to our offices, and we shall be putting also this request in order so that we can be able to start appeal to our supervisors. And that is what Mugabe actually came out to request. That is also the people of Hoima who were actually planning to protest against ECOPinion. Later, Mugabe selected a few PAPS representatives and orchestrated them also to deliver their petition to the offices of the ECOP, and while the rest of the aggrieved locals were left at Kitara SS under tight security in there. But now, in what really calls for this tight security for the locals who do not actually have guns, who do not have stones, who do not have anything? All they have is their placards. Why don't we allow people to exercise their constitutional mandate? That is actually food for thought, and government also need to maybe listen to that. But at the end of the day, we are saying it is a constitutional mandate. The constitution guarantees people to exercise their rights, and that is where we did see people in their petitions only, a copy of which also the application has seen the PAPS demand environmental conservation, and the ECOP also project should be stopped immediately in order to grant that is ample time for their grievances to be also properly understood and meaningfully addressed in there. Now they also want immediate also end to the arrest and the harassment of grassroots environment, and also the what we call human rights defenders against the multi-billion shillings project. Remember, so many people have already been arrested in relation to that, and at the end of the day, these people are out there also already, not also already getting the kind of also treatment that they deserve in there. But we are saying by yesterday, at least 18 people have been arrested in oil also pipeline protests also that we did see in Kampala, which is already happening in Kampala, and where the police in Kampala yesterday arrested 18 individuals who were marching also to the Energy Ministry to deliver their petition, that is to Minister Ruth Nankabirwa, expressing their concerns over what we call planned construction of the East African crude oil pipeline, which is abbreviated as the ECOP, and that is where we did see the arrest. Also, the arrested individuals are part of also the more than 150 students from various institutions under their umbrella body, that is also Students Against ECOP. Also, that's already where we did see them also joining hands under the PAPS, also project affected persons who are also really as well opposed the building and pipeline. Mr. Luko was the Kampala Metropolitan Police Deputy Spokesperson, also really as well confirmed the arrest, and we did see also adding that we were aware that the same group has been moving also to the Chinese embassy last time. They were also really arrested in there. But really, how do you make sure that people exercise their constitutional mandate? If at all something is not also really against something is against the will of the people, why don't we allow the people to really exercise their rights? Because if at all I feel I am against something, I have a right to say I do not want this thing in my area. I do not want it on my land. Because if you look at that, these are the project affected persons under the abbreviation umbrella body PAPS. Really, I feel something is being done, and something also should be done when it comes to solely this was also concerns being also done in there. And remember, by yesterday, at least 18 persons have been confirmed in Uganda. We did see it passes through 10 districts, and that's where we are seeing also the project affecting people. And you find cities like Hoima, Chikube, Chikakumiro, Chankwanzi, Mubende, Gomba, Semabule, Lwengo, Chotera, and 27 sub-counties, and 3 councils, and this is in 171 villages, which have all been affected solely by the oil pipeline in there. Now, before the arrest, PAPS and also student activists said the project had caused more suffering and also posed more risks, and that is actually why they do not want the project to go on, and that is the reason as to why they are saying they cannot allow the project move any further in. And now, Mr. Robert Pitua, one of the students also from the PAP group, also say the project, despite coming with rosary sentiments, did not also benefit them, and that is why they are fighting this project in there. But how do we make sure that people also really do not fight this project? And that means the engagement was not enough. If at all they engage the community members to the fully, then people will not also really come out to fight this project. And now Mr. Stephen Okwai, another PAP, also said, currently most of us in Western Uganda are being disturbed, and you cannot know when rain is going to start and when it will stop. And that means the impact of climate change has also greatly been contributed also really by this project in there. And could it be a reason as to why they are fighting it? Definitely that is entirely in the hands of you as the viewer. You can share your thought and also your opinion in relation to what we are discussing this morning in there. And I hope you will be also really in order to also really share your thoughts. And what is government saying? Now, according to their official website, Students Against EACOP in Uganda is an umbrella body of different student climate activists who are fighting also really to stop the pipeline construction because of what they call is devastating, its devastating environment impacts. And they claim, however, also the best by officials from EACOP Limited, a firm also really what we call responsible for the construction of the pipeline. Mr. John B. Habmugisha, the deputy managing director, that is of the EACOP Limited, said since 1999, a lot of issues also really have been happening, and that is up to 99% of the PAPs have been fully compensated, and really if at all the people have been compensated up to 99%. What about the 1%? Could this also demonstration be coming out from the 1%? Definitely, that is where now the responsible authorities need to come out and also really find out what exactly is happening, and really looking at the 1,443 kilometer pipeline from Hoima to Uganda, Hoima in Uganda to Tanga port in Tanzania, is expected to actually reach financial close this financial year, and with nearly 3 billion debt component of the project already coming from Chinese lenders, Exim Bank and Sinosa. We shall be seeing the project already financed on 60.40% debt equity ratio. As at the end of the day, we shall be seeing that also the ECO project will progress in Uganda, and Tanzania is slated also that is at 33% in there. And that means that is actually where we are going to be seeing that project also really benefiting maybe the people of the region, that is also of Uganda and Tanzania, because we shall be seeing the oil coming from, that is Hoima to Tanga in Tanzania, and we hope also really this oil pipeline comes with its own benefits. And that is where, as we are talking about the negatives, let's also look at the positives, because at the end of the day, we are saying we need to make sure that at least people get to benefit from this this good initiative. And at the end of the day, if at all the negatives, let also the environmental impact assessments be carried out. So if at all the benefits are more than the negatives, then the community members should come out to actually support that. And at the end of the day, that would also really be a benefit in there. And now the group is actually shunning the exercise. One of the reasons as to why they are saying no to the oil pipeline is because of the environment impact, and that's what climate change, which also really has not only affected people of Hoima and the entire country in there. Now talking about those also really that have been affected by climate change in the country, we have seen at least 50 households in Moyo district have been affected by floods, and more than 50 homes, and that's only in the sub-counties on parishes of Panyanga and Balala in Laropi sub-county. We are also seeing at least many people have been left homeless following also the floods that have caused havoc, and that was on Sunday. And really we need to also really pray for those whose houses are being destroyed. And now the floods destroyed crops and gardens latrines. We did see also them destroying gardens. Animals were as well swept away by River Nile, and that is actually what we did see happening. And now also that's one thing we did see happening, and we should continue to pray for our colleagues in Moyo also district in there. And the leaders also say they should come up with their rescue because of also the houses that have been devastated, and that's where we did see also many people being left homeless, and now the gardens are being destroyed. That means anytime we are going to be seeing hunger and the toilets are being destroyed, then that means we are likely to see diseases also emerging from that. That is where we now need to join hands and also pray for those people within that area. Now the LCT chairperson for the sub-county, Stephen Dramui, also said this is also the buses have caused problems every year, and the locals and the community members have actually been going through that, and that's sort of where now they join hands also to make sure that they do something. But what exactly are they going to be doing? Because this is a natural calamity, not man-made in there. Because looking at also what's happening, that means we as man, we must join hands and plant more trees. We need to also make sure we protect the climate, and we also join hands to also enhance the environment protection. Because if you look at what's happening today, many times we are now complaining about the negative impacts of climate change, and many days many people have been going through rains, and now the seasons have changed. That means for those who used to plant during certain periods, today they have to also pray very much so they are not affected, and they need to sort of adjust where necessary in there. Because look at the climate change today, it is a reality. We are seeing rains also coming at a time where we don't expect rains, where we see sun heat where it's not expected, and that is how we are seeing the negative repercussions of climate. But all in all, we are saying whether we are seeing changes in climate, we should still continue planting crops. And with the rains today, we are saying we must necessarily encourage people to actually engage in active farming, so that they need to plant more crops, they need to plant also other activities, so that nobody dies of hunger in there. And that is how at the end of the day we also will be able to survive at the end of the day in there. And now the Executive Director for West Nile Women's Advocacy Platform, Ms. Lilian Mashia, has said disaster management should be in place to handle such cases instead of waiting for relief from the central government. And that is where today we have a sole ministry, Ministry of Disaster and Preparedness, that is solely led by also one of under which docket we also have one of our persons from northern Uganda, that's Lilian Aber. Now we hope also she will be lobbying also for the region also, so that solely the people of Moyo get also the benefit also from her in there. Now the district chairperson, Mr. Williams Anyama, appealed also to affected persons to remain calm as the district undertakes what we call assessment exercise, and that would also be able to bring some bit of development and also some bit of sanity and hope for those who have been affected in there. And now that's where we're living the side. And remember, floods have not only affected Moyo district, we are seeing in Bunibujo them also killing at least one person, and now at least one person has been confirmed dead following the flash floods also that caused significant property damage in the Bunibujo district's Mabere sub-county. Authorities have confirmed that. And now the floods struck on Sunday evening after the heavy downpour, which also we did see happening, also raining for at least hours, which caused also River Nyangikoma to also burst its banks. Ms. Zakeri Museni, the chairperson of Nyangikoma sub-county, identified the deceased as a 25-year-old Kisembo Serbugli, who is believed to have drowned while attempting to cross the swollen river. And that means we are now saying, if at all it is raining, we must avoid tendencies of having heart that should be telling us that we can cross over the floods. And that is how at the end of the day we may see ourselves landing in trouble. But to avoid landing in trouble, we are saying people should also avoid having the hearts of thinking that they are going to be also really crossing over certain rivers. And that is where we're going to be leaving the discussion aside. In case you're just joining us right now, that also is happening in also that district is also assembly in there. And many other districts have also been affected. In Bunibujo, looking at Bunibujo, this is actually a district that is bordering DRC in there, because looking at the hilly parts, and I was also part of also at one time I actually moved to Bunibujo, you'll be able to realize that with the hills, that would also be able to also destroy a lot of also buildings in there. But we are still saying, we are praying for those areas that are actually neighboring rivers, neighboring lakes. They are not any safe. And that is already with the rains today, where water goes in there and the water may come back. And that would also be very much bad for them in there. We are taking a short commercial break. This is the KOKOLIRIKO live show as we get to summarize this hour. And remember, we shall be bouncing in the second hour, where we still have lots more that we are going to be discussing with you. But for now, let's take this quick important breather.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region. Vinicius Jr., Lamine Yamal, Antoine Griezmann. La Liga comes to Star Times.
A wild celebration!
The big stars, the tiki-taka football, Real Madrid and Barcelona live in your living room.
Real Madrid, a team of dreams!
Catch all 380 games live and in HD on Sports Premium Channel 259 and Channel 246 starting this August 15th. Subscribe to StarTimes Classic or Smart Bouquet at 36,000 Uganda shillings to enjoy the football experience affordably. StarTimes Football and Limited Passion. West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
All right, welcome back from that short commercial break. We are already into our second hour of the show, 4 minutes after 8 o'clock. Hope you are still with us and having a good time. And our final destination, of course, remains 9 o'clock. And after 9 o'clock, that's when I will be signing out, leaving the studios for the next team also to come through also with the next program in there. And that is where I hope you also still will be with us. And as West Nile Television, our number one mandate remains, of course, that is to lighten up the region, and we cannot be able to do that alone, where we have to do it with you, and that is where we do not take you lightly as the viewer. We are always proud of you, we are always thankful, so that sorry you are also with us in there, and we hope also you are still with us, and our final destination, of course, as Aladon said, remains 9 o'clock, and in the first hour we are able to also discuss a number of issues, and I will be still letting you know also what is making rounds in the other parts also of the country in there. And now looking at what is making rounds in the papers, still we did see also many stories happening. And now start of our second hour with LRA women war victims ask government for settlement, and this is actually one of my biggest demands. Should also go to the members of parliament to actually make sure that those persons affected also during the LRA insurgency get some bit of hope during these parliamentary sittings in there. And now the former female abductees of the Lord's Resistance Army, LRA, now under their War Victims and Children Networking Initiative, have urged the government to resettle them, and also 2 decades after returning from captivity in there. Remember, during this insurgency, young girls and women were actually abducted as for sexual reasons. Others were actually abducted also for other reasons as well. But I want to say women and girls were actually not spared. And today we have mothers in Gulu and Kitugum, in Nyoya, in really in areas surrounding Acholi, who do not have their fathers. And this is actually where we believe many of them were actually forcefully impregnated and raped also already by the rebels. And today we have many of them go through a lot, and I hope at the end of the day that is where we have been seeing them also already suffering a lot in there. Now these women abducted by the LRA rebels between 2004 and 2006 share their struggle for integration, revealing that many have been unable to settle with their children who have been left fatherless and also by the rebels, rejected also with their families and communities, and now they remain homeless as they do not also own land. Now the women also are from districts of Amuru, Gulu City, others from Nyoya, Pader, Kitgum, Lamu, and also Omoro districts, northern Uganda, and now they are appealing to government also to reset them, as we are also already seeing this parliamentary setting. My demand to the leaders from this side is actually to put this request before Parliament also already, so that the government will see reason for allocating resources only for resettling these women in there. Now, Ms. Margaret Alum, a former LRA abductee from Gulu, was taken by the LRA at the age of 14 years, you can imagine, and she returned with 3 children, but has since struggled to secure a home for these 3 children. Now, Alum appealed to government support and also citing stigma and rejection as they continue to also face those challenges in there. Now, she also further highlighted the dire consequences of rejection, noting many women have committed suicide due to also stigma and rejection that comes with being an abductee. And I hope at the end of the day, that is where we have seen very many women going through a lot, and we hope they also get to have justice in that. Now the women spoke during an engagement with Action Aid International Uganda on Saturday, and Ms. Florence Akulo, another victim, also emphasized the challenge of landlessness, which has severely impacted their economic stability. And Akulo pointed out that many of them still face stigma and also injuries sustained during captivity and the reproductive health issues resulting from being raped at younger age, but they cannot also really afford medical treatment in there. That means government also really still be able to put these women at the forefront in there, and that's where we're seeing now Action Aid Uganda International, also with support from Judith Nelson Foundation, have now launched a 2-year Africa Women's Voices Peace Project, and the initiative also really seeks to address immediate protection, economic and healthcare needs of these women, and that is where we hope they will be in position to also really make sure they benefit from this project. And we did see Ms. Nyanyonga explaining also really where we did see Mr. Rita Nyanyonga, the coordinator of the project, say they are going to be also really making sure they exacerbate the economic disparities, as women also have been going through a vulnerability in conflict situations, and that is where they look forward to also supporting these women in there. Now, Ms. Stella Lanam, the War Victims and Children Network Initiative, noted that the project will be impacting at least 500 women, 1,000 women, and children also in the parts of northern Uganda now. That's why we did see also Ms. Lanam also mentioned that due to the early age at which many of these women gave birth, they continue to suffer from reproductive health issues, but struggle to now access medical health. And Ms. Openyu Mwawanda, the head of programs Africa at the Judith Nelson Foundation, reiterated the foundation's commitment to empowering these women and enhancing also. Many of these organizations out there also still can't be also in position to come out and support these women, not only in Acholi sub-region, but also in those other areas that were as well affected also during the LRA insurgency. For instance, in Western sub-region, in Karamoja, in Lango, we also really saw people being affected also by this project during the insurgency as well in there. Now the LRA, a Ugandan rebel group led by Joseph Kony, waged war on NRM government for nearly 18 years, abducting and killing thousands of civilians in the northern part of this country, also where we did see many people being killed from West Nile, others from Acholi, where the majority actually from where he hailed from, and Lango sub-region, where as well we talk about these issues, because if we not also address this issue, then that is how it will be very, very much sad in there. And that is what we think we did see yesterday, and I hope you as the viewer also still will be understanding also see the Anita also meeting the Pope in there where she was prayed for, and she actually introduced the babies, and many people actually asking what was the reason of her introducing these babies to the speaker, to the Pope, and many people actually asking what was the motive and the reason behind also the introduction of these babies to Pope. actually came out also to ask on issues of religion, and I hope also now you, the viewer, also still can be able to share your thoughts and share opinions in relation to this matter. But as we get move on with the stories, Pharmaceutical Society bosses clash over internship is another story that we are seeing right now, as the president of the Pharmaceutical Society of Uganda has dismissed the notice that where the society secretary and Dr. Pamela Achi, the Pharmaceutical Society Uganda president, told also journalists that the notice was issued by an individual and is no position of the Council of the Pharmaceutical Society of Uganda. If we are deploying also the interns, it can be a mess, cause exploitation, and can also be what we call a problem to also the interns also in there, and that's where we did see them also coming out also disagreeing. Now PSU established also by the Pharmacy and Drugs Act of 1970 and also Cap 280 of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda is governed by the Council of Pharmaceutical Society of Uganda, which consists of 12 members, and Stephen Lototi, the Pharmaceutical Society Secretary, also the Secretary of the Council, told journalists that the notice was an operational matter following information also from the government that there is no money to deploy the remaining medical interns. And really this matter is actually really something that has been out there. And I remember recently the president actually came out to also say that the government of Uganda does not have the money to actually make sure that those internees that were left out can be deployed. And really Sonny actually came out recently also to allude on the same matter. And many people actually saying, if at all we want to waste the money on regional parliamentary setting, why don't we channel it towards the interns who are going to be improving on the health of also the citizens out there, because that is where the many people thought that this money should have actually been going. And that's actually the critics of the regional parliamentary sitting who actually came out that now Dr. Lotet Fada said the notice also that with support from internship supervisor, all identified sites will be approved by the PSU before you start also the internship. Now the exchange between Dr. Chi and Dr. Lototi also comes a few weeks after the Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Dr. Thomas Taeb, also proposed that medical degree holders who can meet also in the internship cost should be given a go-ahead if government also is in no position to also have them be deployed in there, because really that is one thing also where many people have been raising issues. Many people have also been debating on the same matter, because government came out to say that there's no money. And recently when these people came out on the streets to also demonstrate, many people were actually so media to asking these medical interns to mark the faces of those officers, those army officers who are behind also chasing them, so that also when they get to visit them, they will deal with them also in the way they have also dealt with them in there. Because right now these are internees, but in the next few days we are going to be seeing them also becoming qualified doctors in there. Now let's talk about malnutrition, because many of the children are suffering from malnutrition because the mothers do not also have time to feed their children. That is when it comes to issues of breastfeeding, good feeding. That is where we're seeing malnutrition today becoming a challenge. And recently I took a walk, that is also the malnutrition site in Arua City. I was able to realize many women actually going through a lot of challenges. Many of their children actually suffer from malnutrition, but many of them do not know where this is coming from. And you see a person is healthy, but the child is malnourished. What is causing that? These are questions we need to understand, that indeed malnutrition is a reality, and one thing also why we need to join hands and eradicate the vice, and that is how at the end of the day we are going to be kicking malnutrition out of this country. Now a campaign to end child hunger and malnutrition nationwide has got a new boost, with World Vision Uganda allocating that, sharing $75 million, which is about 277.5 billion, and the campaign dubbed Enough is aimed at ending child hunger and also malnutrition nationwide, in line with the global and regional frameworks, including Sustainable Development Goals, which also aimed at eliminating malnutrition by the year 2030. And we hope also that agenda will also be achieved in there, because we are getting closer to 2030, and today we are talking about any time from now entering the Mba month, where we shall be entering September, October, November, December. That means the year is done, because usually when we enter the Mba month, trust me, the year is done. But how is the year ending? How ready are you for the end of the year? And what have you done to make sure the year ends that is on your side? These are questions we need to always ask ourselves as we get to move on with the show. And now she was addressing the media during the launch of the campaign in Kampala. Mr. Jacqueline K. Opondo, the board chairperson, emphasized the need for multi-sectoral approaches to secure livelihoods and improve nutrition among children. Today, you learn children are actually the most vulnerable to the vice of malnutrition, but really today we also hardly can do something to also eradicate the vice. But what we are saying we need to also make sure this does not go on. Now the campaign will be rolled out in the districts of Ababim, Adjumani, Agago, Moyo, Moroto, Nebi, Marata Oyam, Zombo, Bueju, and Kalungu, among others, who will be benefiting from this project. And now the also targets an impact where the organizers also highlighted impact on the vulnerable children, citing partnerships with the government, donors, and also many other persons out there who will also be coming out to support this good initiative. In the midst now, Ms. Rukia Nakadama, the third Deputy Prime Minister, reaffirmed that the government's commitment to strengthening the collaboration of also and coordination of effective nutrition and as well as service delivery, and that is where we did see also coming out also express government's commitment in terms of also ending this vice in there, and that is one thing also where we are going to be leaving the discussion aside with as we get to go on with the show. Remember, so many issues happened, and really recently we have been over the days talking about a story of the killing of the Ndigaid clan, and where we arrested suspects, and now this is a developing story, and now we are seeing the suspect coming out to say he does not regret killing the Ndigaid clan. That is what the prime suspect is saying. What exactly went wrong? These are things that we need to understand, because today many people are suffering also the issues of also the atrocities. People keep grudges. At the end of the day, we see them revenging. Now the key suspects in the early 2004 murder of Buganda Kingdom Ndiga clan head, that is Daniel Bosa, has yesterday also being charged and remanded to Luzira prison. And on Monday, we did see prime suspect Luja Bosa Tabula, who now joins his co-accused quintet, was chained as he appeared before Mwanga 2 Grade 1 Magistrate Court. And amid that tight security, Tabula was arraigned before court, presided over by senior principal Grade 1 Magistrate, that is Adam Biaruhanga, with the suspect also facing murder accusations, contrary to section also 188 and 189 of the Penal Code Act. And he said, I do not regret hiring two killers, that is Serum Kuma and Noah Luja. I know it is wrong to murder, but I was securing my ancestors' rightful ownership of the Luoma Ndiga clan title, and that's actually where he actually came out also really to also execute that mission there. But really, how do you also really demand to be also really execute, also really demand for your right title in there? Because just because of position, you are demanding and also letting somebody's life go in there. And now if father also told Kodat he will never also get fighting for his ancestors' rights, even the leadership of Ndiga clan, and even though I am jailed, I will never return and I take over and I will remain in jail. I will have served also the lineage of my people, and who will also take over the seat, and that's what Luja emphasized. And however, Magistrate Biaruhanga only read the charge of murder to Luja, but did not also allow him to plead, citing lack of jurisdiction to handle the matter in there. That means he will be sentenced to also jail for murder in there. But we are saying, how will this matter now be addressed? That is where we did see prosecution also led by Caroline Pumire, telling court also that inquiries into the matter are being complete before requesting also for adjournment to prepare committal papers. And Tabla is likely to be accused also with 5 other suspects currently on remand in Luzira prison, awaiting to be committed. That is before High Court also for trial. In another Aluja, a 21-year-old Harith Nachiguli, a 40-year-old. We have Joseph Nakabale, a 47-year-old, Ezra Mayanja, a 44, and Mili Naruenda, a 46-year-old, who have all been arrested and also kept behind bars. Now, also police investigations earlier revealed that Tabula worked alongside Naruenda, a Buganda traditional also court clerk, to hire Bosa's killers. He was also killed on February 25th near his home, that is at Kandwa zone in Lunguja division. That is Lunguja parish, that's in Lubaga division. The Kampala, that's actually where we did see the man that we are talking about being killed. And that is how we are now seeing people also being paraded before courts of law for the atrocity of murder. But how do we make sure that people do not take the laws into their hands? Because many times people are taking the laws in their hands. And how do we make sure these matters are always addressed in there? Because if at all we talk about these matters without necessarily finding solutions, then that is how it will be quite difficult. And we are leaving that discussion aside. Now those people have already been remanded to Luzira prison, as others have as well been remanded to other prisons. But now look at what's happening in Luzira. There is shortage of water, as National Water and Sewage Corporation has cut water to Luzira government prison over debts amounting to about 18 billion. That means the government facility is running without water. And now the National Water and Sewage Corporation has disconnected water services to Luzira prisons, also complex due to unpaid water bill arrears amounting to shillings 18.3 billion. And the disconnection undertaken on August 13th has raised significant concerns, given also the impact of both inmates and staff within the facility. And despite the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development releasing that shillings 2.3 billion in the first quarter of also the 2024-2025 financial year, part of the budgeted also shillings 79 billion allocated to National Water and Sewage Corporation, the outstanding arrears remain unresolved. That means they are demanding the government facility. But how do we run a prison facility without water? How are the inmates going to be bathing? How are they going to be also finding water to also wash their clothes? Because water is life. As always we say that water is life, and water is actually a basic necessity. And that is where today without water you can hardly survive. You cannot also live without water. And that is how at the end of the day, if this government facility is not going to be having water, we are going to be seeing the inmates dying as a result of lack of access to water in there. And that is why we're saying National Water and Sewage Corporation and the government authority must come out to also really make sure they address this matter and resolve this matter before lives are being lost also as a result of lack of water in there. And that is how we are going to be seeing that also happening. And we hope at the end of the day, that is how we are going to be seeing that matter also be addressed. And now the negotiations between Ministry of Finance, the Ministry of Internal Affairs, the Uganda Prison Service, and National Water and Sewage Corporation to restore regular water supply also to the service are also really going to take place. And that is where we are seeing Uganda Prison has also urged Uganda Prison Service has urged both prisoners and staff to remain calm, as efforts are already underway to also address this matter in there. And that is where we are hoping for normalcy to come also to the people who are in there. And that's where we also hope that matter will be also addressed, as we also hope to be also looking into that matter in the next coming days. And now, leaving that aside, costly markets, empty stalls, multi-billion projects along Masaka Road lying idle. That's another story that we are seeing. And now, despite significant government investment in constructing the modern market that's also along the roads to provide traders with attractive and also safe places to operate, many of these vendors also and facilities are abandoned by the vendors. Also many are glaring example in the market. That's in Lukaya, trading also along the Masaka Kampala Highway, renowned for its vibrant street food scene that draws countless also travelers. And now looking at that road, because if you look at the Lukaya also that connects Masaka to Kampala, you will realize this market is actually still lying idle despite it being a magnificent facility. And many of the vendors have actually sided and also shunned the facility for reason of it being expensive and non-customers. And these are issues always where we are seeing people shunning markets. And I hope the same also will be coming to a rural main market if at all the facility issues are not resolved. And today we are still seeing the facility running without power. And that means people operating using torches, others are using their smartphones. That is how we are saying it is actually a security concern also in there, because the vendors cannot also operate in darkness. And anytime from now, if government does not come out to address the matter, then we shall be seeing the same scenario jetting into a row in a way. The vendors may come back to the streets and do street vending, and that would not be well with also the issues of tax mobilization. And now the local government minister, Rafael Magezi, inaugurated the Lukaya Highway Market in February 2021, expressing confidence that the new facility will provide vendors with decent place to work while also boosting revenue collection for Lukaya Town Council. Now vendors claim that the market was poorly designed and constructed only a low-lying area, making it prone to flooding during rains. But who was the contractor? Because really these are challenges solely where we need to bring these contractors to book and also answer the queries. Why they didn't also do certain things? Because if vendors are now complaining about flooding, then that is quite embarrassing. That means the facility is going to be lying idle, and government's money that was invested in there will just go into waste. Now the lack of proper drainage and infrastructure has turned what was also meant to be a modern trading center into a liability for traders. And additionally, the market sole location is in a valley without adequate parking access points, and also deterred customers from prioritizing the stalls in there. That means many of them have actually shunned the facility because of several reasons, which I feel government now needs to come out and also resolve, so at the end of the day, we also get to benefit from that facility. Now namely the Barbara, a sweet banana vendor who is one of the few traders still trying to make also a living in the new market, has been counting losses since she moved there 6 months ago, and that means they are now counting losses. That means government must come out to also make sure this matter is addressed. Now, the resident district commissioner for Kalungu district, Dr. Paddy Kayondo, acknowledged that the challenges facing Lukaya market and suggested so that the only solution might be to demolish and reconstruct it afresh in there. Now, that means the money that was used to establish that facility in the first place will just be put into waste. And that means the Lukaya market is also not a isolated case. Several other markets along the Kampala Highway market, including the Mukoko market and Kabale Bugonzi market, have also as well been abandoned by the vendors, and these markets already built using taxpayers' money now stand idle, raising questions about accountability and efficient usage of public funds. That means something could have gone wrong somewhere, and what exactly was the contractor up to? Because in the Valley Dam, we hoped you could have also really looked at certain of these things. And what happened in the future? Will it be possibly who for facility vendors are not another reason? One, the issue of parking, then second, the issue of flooding. That has left many customers not to come to the facility, as many vendors accounting losses that forced many of them to move out of the trade. And that means that should be addressed, and we hope at the end of the day, that is where we need to solely ensure that people join hands. As the government continues to invest in infrastructure projects, the recurring issue of also poorly designed and underutilized markets highlights the need for better planning, consultation of stakeholders, and on oversight also for these matters to be addressed in there. And that is where we also hope you are going to be also really sharing your thoughts on. And leaving that aside, Minister of both holds local government funding for RDC farewell. That is where we are seeing the Minister of Defense and Veteran Affairs, Jacob Oboth, has stepped in to stop the Tororo local government solely from soliciting funds from sub-counties to finance a farewell party for the outgoing resident district commissioner. That means he has been hailed and appreciated for the good and job well done for the people of Tororo in there. Now, both sides they already also strained revenues of the lower also administrative units as a reason also for the intervention, and he reassured that he would personally fund the event and sparing sub-counties from financial burden. Now, the minister also confirmed that his attendance at the party, which he also referred to his own Thanksgiving ceremony, and Mr. Both also commended also the outgoing RDC Nixon Owole as the best in Tororo's history. And really, I don't know what's happening. Most of these RDCs who also really reshuffled in there, many people are actually feeling that they do not have to go. They have to go looking at Madiokolo. You come to a rural district now in Tororo, people still feel they need these RDCs the most, and that is how we also really need to now encourage those others whose goings are going to be celebrated to also really pick a leaf from. As those others who have transferred, you still can change. And also by the time you leave, many people can still honor you. And that is where we are saying, at the end of the day, let's join hands. Let's make sure that at least when we are leaving a legacy that is going to be honored, a legacy that is going to be celebrated. But sometimes you know that an RDC is transferred, people are jubilating. And actually, at other times also we see people pushing for the transfers of these RDCs and RCCs. That means you have not been doing something rightly. That means you need to check your behavior. If government gives you an opportunity to serve again, make sure you serve with integrity. Make sure you are at the forefront. That's all people not also protest against you in your new offices in there and in your new places of service in there. And that's where we're going to be taking a short commercial break. And still, this is the KOKOLIRIKO live show on Wednesday Night TV, channel 477 on StarTimes, and 0073 on Zuku, and online across all our social media platforms on Facebook, YouTube, and X. You will always watch us live from each and every Monday to Friday, right from 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock. We are taking a short commercial break. My name is Farish Majid as we bounce back with more stories.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region. Bellingham, Vinicius Jr., Lamine Yamal, Antoine Griezmann. La Liga comes to Star Times.
A wild celebration!
The big stars, the tiki-taka football, Real Madrid and Barcelona live in your living room.
Real Madrid, a team of dreams!
Catch all 380 games live and in HD on Sports Premium Channel 259 and Channel 246 starting this August 15th. Subscribe to StarTimes Classic or Smart Bouquet at 36,000 Uganda shillings to enjoy the football experience affordably. StarTimes Football and limited passion.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
All right, welcome back from a short commercial break. We are back into the last half of today's discussion, and I hope you are still with us on StarTimes channel 477 and on Zuku on channel 0073. We do not take it lightly. We are always appreciative of you being part of the discussion. And now to look at what continues to make round. Remember, so many issues continue to happen in the country, and that is the reason as to why we always come out and let you know of what makes round. And that is where we also really are saying, at least many people also really are suffering, but we are saying regardless of what continues to suffer, what you continue to suffer from, we need now to also really make sure that at least we are prayerful. We pray to God, despite also the bad and good things that continue to happen to us. We also still have to appreciate Him because He is the master planner and the one who also really plans everything. And that is where we are saying, for those who are going through hell right now, you not have to give up, and you have to continue praying to God, and you have to also really make sure that at least you are also still there. And now that's where we're going to be seeing also really happening, and maybe what continues to make rounds in there. Now let's look at what is happening in Tanzania, our neighbors, where we're seeing Tanzanian president names a troublesome lion after viral, and that's something also after rival. And now, according to BBC, we are seeing Tanzania's president Samia Suluhu Hassan has named a troublesome lion after one of the country's opposition leader, and that's why we did see Samia Suluhu was visiting the Tanzania Wildlife Authority when she was introduced to the unruly lion by officials, where she actually said, "Does that lion have a name?" And she asked, and when she was not so told that the lion has a name, she mentioned and named the lion Tundu Lissu, and Mr. Lissu is the leader of the main opposition party, Chadema, and was arrested earlier this year for attempting to hold a youthful rally, which also police say was intended to incite violence. And now she decided to name the lion Tundu, and that means really that is one thing also where we did see. But couldn't this actually promote the popularity of this person that we are talking about? So what does also Mr. Lissu make of this namesake? And now it seems that he's taking this in the stride, and that means also many people actually came out to also comment on the same issue. Now Mr. Solubu was also the vice, then vice president became the leader in 2021 after the death of Magufuli John Pombe, who died also in office, and elections are also due to take place next year, where President Samia Suluhu is planning to run for a second term, as Mr. Lissu is also planning to run for president once again in there. Now that's where we did see also the two also they will be meeting in again there, where the two most likely to face off to see who will become the king of the jungle in there. And that is one thing where we did see also the Tanzanian president naming the lion Mr. Lissu, and I hope that wouldn't also make the rival more popular in there, because many times you do certain things, and at the end of the day you realize these things actually play to the benefit of the party, and that is how we need to also really make sure that also really And we join hands in terms of really making sure that these matters also do not also really address also those issues in that. Now, Noop threatens legal action as Bobby Wine also visits these landfill victims, and that's what another story we are seeing in the papers right now, where the National Platform Party has threatened to take legal action against the Kampala Capital City Authority and the government if they fail to promptly also really compensate and relocate victims of the recent state landfill. And that is also really where we did see many people dying, where about 28 persons are still said missing up to date, where over 30 were also registered dead. And this was also during the revisit to the temporary camp housing those affected, where Noop President yesterday was actually with those people and the victims who were in that area, and delivered essential relief aid items to the people who have also been hit by that challenge. And that deployment was also in anticipation of Chagulanyi's visit, which drew significant attention, and large following also of his supporters. And Chagulanyi arrived in a convoy of vehicles, including one carrying food, other aid supplies and water tank, and then also the members of parliament, including Joel Senyonyi, also, and other officials who accompanied him in there. And that is where we did see them also really for long, being with the people of Chitezi in there. However, tensions arose when police restricted the entry, allowing only Chagulanyi, Sanyunyi, and other MPs inside the camp, while the rest of the entourage was also held outside. That's why we did see also the police allowing them to enter. And during his address, Chagulanyi expressed this deep concern also over the government's handling of this disaster. And he emphasized that if the government continues to delay compensation and the settlement, Noop will support also the victims also in taking matter to court. And he added also that they will not also rest until justice is served for these people in there. Now, Joel Senyonyi, the leader of opposition parliament, re-echoed Chagulanyi's sentiments, and he says that this was not also an accident, but it happened also out of negligence, putting the blame on Kampala Capital City Authority and government for not putting also an eye in relation to that. Now where we see Mwanda Nkunyinzi, the area member of parliament for Chadondo East, also pledged to use his legal expertise to also pursue the matter and follow us on that matter until the matter is resolved. And he added that they will not also hold any person responsible, but also for also the matter. In the now police in their statement highlighted also that the challenges in the ongoing search for missing persons, noting that the operation has been hampered by the persistent rain. However, police say it also indicated that due to also the time lapse, the bodies of those still missing are likely to have decomposed, and they now expect to recover bones, which they will subject also to DNA, testifying also that those who will be able to identify their victims and families will be buried. Now, Uganda Red Cross Society says that some of the victims, also especially those whose tenants also in the camps have begun living, start a new life, and they're reducing the number of also displaced persons to about 293, as others have already left the facility in there. But now, where are they going to? And how are they going to solely be able to solely support it in there is what we need to solely understand as we get move on with the show. Because looking at what happened in Chitezi, many people already were affected by that challenge in there, and we hope also that the matter will also already be addressed in there. And at the end of the day, we want to make sure at least each and every person is also really in the know of also really what continues to make rounds in there. And that's why we're going to leave that discussion aside, looking at also what continues to make rounds elsewhere. China pledges shillings 18 billion for Naguru Health Hospital expansion. Is another story that we are seeing right now, where the Chinese government has committed, that is shillings about 18.5 billion to expand and renovate, that is the China-Uganda Friendship Naguru Hospital. Now the announcement was made by Chinese ambassador, that is Zhang Lizong, during a meeting also with senior editors at Chinese embassy in Kampala, also where the funding is part of the broader initiatives under the Forum of China-Africa Cooperation, aiming at strengthening ties and fostering development across Africa. And that's where we are now seeing also that hospital anytime from now receiving a facelift. And remember, that is actually one of those specialized hospitals that is actually doing a tremendous job, and that's where we need to support and also really appreciate the Chinese government for maintaining this mutual relationship with the Ugandan government in terms of solely improving the health sector in that. Now, I like China's pivotal role in Uganda's health sector, particularly during also crises like the COVID-19 pandemic, when China provided emergency medical aid, including vaccines and also the anti-malarial drugs also in there. And now China's involvement in Uganda's healthcare extends beyond financial support. And now the ambassador noted that the Chinese medical teams are dispatched annually also to work alongside Ugandan doctors, and the hospital also performing thousands of surgeries and outpatient consultations. Now these teams also provide medical care in rural areas and schools, and China's contribution to Uganda are not only limited also to healthcare. Ambassador Li Zong highlighted the significant investments in what we call sectors, so particularly infrastructure in India. That's one thing also where we need to appreciate the Chinese government for, because they are doing a tremendous job. And China also played a key role in boosting Uganda's trade. Ambassador Li Zong encouraged Ugandan companies to capitalize on tariff-free exports, that is China, and by the end of 2023, trade volumes between two countries reached about $1.3 billion, with Uganda's exports to China increasing, that is about 19.6%. And the recent deals also really, that's the FOCA meeting in China, from September 4th to 6th, Ambassador Li Zong expressed optimism about what we call the continued growth of China-Africa relations, and reaffirmed China's policy of non-also interference in Uganda's internal affairs, including human rights issues, and emphasized deepening relationship between the two countries. And now China's also about 5 billion US people pledge underscores that is strengthening partnerships between China and Uganda built on mutual respect and shared also goals for development. And that is how, at the end of the day, we need to make sure that at least each and every person gets to also really understand the benefit of us having this relationship with China, because today China is actually the biggest exporter of the goods that enter Uganda. Look at most of the goods and also we use in Uganda. Look at the phones, look at the shoes, look at the clothes. Most of them are coming from China. And I want to say that also at least 99% of the goods that we use in Uganda have a connection to what is coming from China. And that's how, at the end of the day, we need to hope that also the relationship between Uganda and China gets to continue, so that already at the end of the day, we also already are not also left out in it. That's how we are going to be also leaving that discussion aside with, and we hope also as the viewer that we are going to be also already seeing also already a lot of activities coming from that side. And at the end of the day, we hope also that matter we also will be addressed in there. And as we get move on the show, remember so many issues going to happen both nationally and also internationally. I will be touching something small in case also we need to also understand what is going to make rounds in there, and I will be also letting you know what exactly is coming from that side also of the world in there, because as West Nile TV, our mandate remains that is to cast across all sectors of life, where we talk about development, we talk about governance, we talk about politics, all in all, to make sure that you at least are in the know of also really what is making rounds in your neighborhood. Now that's where we're going to be looking at also in relation to what also is happening in the camp of FDC, where FDC members demand speedy probe in terrorism case. That's another story we are seeing right now. 36 members, and this follows that 36 members of Forum for Democratic Part faction who were deported from China and charged with terrorism are demanding speedy investigation into their case now. Now the group, which includes the 3 men and 3 women, were arrested in Kisumu, that's in Kenya, over allegedly providing also or receiving terrorism training, and the accused also really consists of engineers, lawyers, businessmen, teachers, students, masons, and drivers, and that is how they will be also really charged in the courts of law. And now they're calling for speedy investigation, and the group also really made the call on August 26th of 2024 at Nakawa Court in Kampala, presided over by Chief Magistrate, that is Chris Nantenge, and remember these have been arrested in also the neighboring country. And now their request also came after Chief State Attorney, that is Richard Birimvuka, informed the court that the inquiries, the matter are complete, and now why are we not also making sure that at least the final judgment is made? And now Lukogo asked also court to compel security operatives in what we call to resume also the identification cards and passports of the accused persons, so that they can also apply for bail for the accused persons in there. And that's one thing also where we need to understand that these people were arrested in Tanzania, but up to now, their matter has not been disposed of court. That means court is still investigating the matter. But when are we going to be seeing the investigations ending? Because we need to understand that these investigations have already commenced, but when shall they end? These are questions that we need to understand and also need to follow up on. Now, however, the magistrate court could not also grant orders regarding the accused's request because she was not the magistrate handling the matter. And remember that matter has been deferred, and now the accused person, these include the director, now they include the Director Community Support Initiative for Refugees in Nairobi, Simon Tondra. We have Dr. George Okello Okwaro, lawyer also already. We do have Paul Kawanguzi, an electrician. We have Innocent Museveni, an engineer. We have Charles Luanga Bukenya, a driver. We have Dennis Nono Owachgiu, a self-employed person there. We have Peter also Sozi, a mason. And we also have a student from Islamic University in Uganda, identifies also a student also Charles Nkonge, another student also from Gulu University identified as Moses Chankara Mwaka, who have all been arrested also in there. We have teachers also, we have Yasia Koiga, Richard also, we have prisoners as well in that group, and many other persons who were also already arrested in Kenya in there. And recently we had, recently also follow and came at a time where we witnessed havoc in Kenya, where the youths came out and also protest against the taxes in Kenya in there, which actually subject many to be arrested, and that's where we did see them also demanding for the president to step down and destroy the parliament, and that is one thing also I did see that happening, and that also the arrest also followed that period. And could it be that government suspected that these people could copy a leaf from what happened in Kenya? Could it be that way? And that's where we are going to be leaving that discussion aside, and still also look at what is happening also in elsewhere in there. Remember, so many issues also continue to happen, where we are able to also see President Museveni also on Friday, August 23, also 24, also met the families of late Colonel, that's retired Charles Okele Angola, and also the late Zebra Sanyanga. Remember, these people were killed by officers of UPDF, and the minister Sam Angola was actually murdered by the bodyguard. That is also a UPDF officer in there who also murdered him for reasons that remain unknown. Meanwhile, Zebra Sanyonge, a boxer and also a mobilizer for the ruling government of NRM, UPDF officers who were also moving across his area in there. And now, according to the release from State House, these were also killed by error, also by errant UPDF officers, and that also called for presidents to meet the families and apologize also for the atrocities caused by his officers. But then, are we going to be seeing justice served to these people? And Angola was the Minister of State for Labor, Employment and Industrial Relations, whereas Senyange was a former professional boxer. And President Museveni, he was also the chief commander also of UPDF, invited the families of the victims already, and that's to State House and Tebe, to officially apologize also to them, and also acknowledge that also the UPDF was actually responsible for their deaths. And now the Deputy Chief of Defense Forces, Lieutenant General Moaz Kainerugaba, at the meeting also represented also the CDF, and that's one thing also we did see where Colonel retired Angola was gunned down by his bodyguard, a soldier also identified as Wilson Sabiti, on the morning also of May 2nd, 2023 at his home that in Chianja, a Kampala suburb in there. Meanwhile, late Zebra Senyanje was also a boxer and a trainer as well as a mobilizer for the ruling government of NRM, but was also murdered by military personnel who were also in patrol in the wee hours of the night. That is in December 30th of 2020. But really, what reason was it behind also for the murder of this man that we are talking about? Now the State House released President Museveni once again conveyed his condolences to the two families and also extended some financial support to these families. And now during the meeting, the national leadership also of Born Against, that's Barokere from Lira District, also offered prayers where they highlight also the spirit of reconciliation and forgiveness also advocated for by Jesus Christ while on the cross. And that is actually where they made a biblical allusion to, and we hope that would actually address this matter that we are discussing this morning. And really, reconciliation is always paramount, but really we hope certain of these activities not happen in future. If at all the UPDF officers actually committed atrocities, then we do not expect more to be done by these people, and that is where we are going to be leaving that discussion aside. And now to look at what's making rounds internationally. Remember, so many issues going to also come out internationally, and now looking at the war in Israel, that's in Palestine, also caused by Israel. We are still seeing that happening, and now 2 wounded also in Israel army raid in the occupied West Bank. Is also we are seeing emerging from that side, where 2 Palestinians have been wounded after they were severely shot by Israeli forces, using also rubber bullets already in the occupied West Bank town of Ibna, according to also already the Wafa news agency report. In there, now dozens of other Palestinians already suffered tear gas and also inhalations also of the dangerous chemicals in that area where we didn't see that happening. But when shall we see an end to the war in Gaza in there today? Because we are seeing Gaza bleeding, but how do we make sure that the war in there ends? And that's where we are seeing also the Hezbollah attack also in Israel, Salzburg White House. Now that's also where we're seeing stories emerging from there, but we are going to leave that aside. Now looking at what's happening in the US, Trump and Harris spar over muting debate microphones. That is another story that we are seeing right now, where the Donald Trump and Kamala Harris campaigns are sparring over whether to mute one of the microphones, when it also the other person's turn to speak during also the pairs said also debate is next month. But really, why do we also have other issues? Because looking at the next elections, we are going to be seeing a tight race that is also really between Donald Trump, who is seeking to bounce back, and Kamala Harris, also who is also going to be aspiring. And now the Harris campaign said in a statement to the BBC's news partner, the CBS also news, that it wanted to both candidates' microphones to be live throughout the full broadcast. But why do we see tendencies of people's microphones being muted whilst they are talking? Because if you look at this many times, you realize that also during campaigns, people do not actually have freedom to continue with their speeches. As somebody is here talking to the supporters, you find out that the person has been muted. Why do we continue to see these tendencies? Is solely where we need to solely join hands and avoid such tendencies, and that's where we're going to be leaving the discussion aside. And I hope you, as the viewer, also really is having also a wonderful time. Now, to summarize the entire discussion with what's happening in the world of sports. Remember, yesterday we did see also the world secondary, the USA games ending. These are the secondary school games for East Africa, also really ending, and we did see also really St. Mary's Stende losing also really in the finals in there by a goal to nil. That is to Amos College in there. But how it ended, we did see chaotic scenes. Tear gas rocked. I was able to see people being caned, and that is how it ended. But why do we witness also really chaotic scenes during our sporting activities? Why must our games not end peacefully? And now Amos College boys team captain, that's Toto Majub, lifts the football trophy, and that's where we did see him also really scoring. And remember, this player we're talking about, that's Toto Majub, has actually had a tremendous contribution to the teams also really lifting this trophy in there, right from the group stages up to the finals. He has had a contribution, and we want to say congratulations to Amos College for making also that effort in the now. St. Noah girls won the football team, where we did see Captain Lilian Nachiria also really receiving the trophies on behalf of the team. And now the Uganda won the overall regional trophy, where we did see also them retaining that, that's in Bukedia, and we were able to also really see Amos College also winning the boys category in there, and many dignitaries actually came to witness these games. And I remember this is actually a good initiative for Uganda, as we were able to see them lifting many trophies, and really we were able to sort of see St. Mary's Stende losing to Amos College in the finals in a game that ended in a chaotic scene in there. But really, how do we allow our games move the way they did so? That means we need to also avoid tendencies of this kind of nature, this kind of also chaotic scenes witnessed also really during our games in there. That's where we're going to leave that aside, looking at what's happening elsewhere. Yesterday we also received the shocking news of the death of former England manager, that is Eriksson, who died at the age of 76 years. And now the former England manager, that is Sven-Göran Eriksson, has died at the age of 76. And the news came out yesterday where Eriksson, the first non-British manager of the England team, also led the Three Lions to the quarterfinals at 3 major different tournaments during his 5-year spell that's in charge between 2001 and 2006. And that means he had a tremendous also run in there. And Eriksson said he had the best year live also, where we did see children Lina and Johan. On Monday also, our father came when Eriksson fell asleep peacefully in his home. That means the confirmation also really came out, also really make sure that they talk about. And really many dignitaries and former players also really came out to eulogize this man, and I was able to also really see David Beckham also coming out to comment and also really tweet, and that's an acknowledgement also really for this foreign player. And that many people also came out, and more so those who support England, and many people have been also known as supporters of this team, and we hope now that they also came out to also really honor the person we are talking about, and that is where we didn't see that happening. And at the end of the day, we are saying many of those people must also do not also have to go like that, and that means we must honor people of legacy, and that means we are going to be leaving that aside. Now looking at what is happening in the world of transfers, and today is the 26th, and the transfers will be closing on 30th. That means we are counting very few days to the end and the closer of the transfer window. But has your team signed a player that they have been pursuing? And today, if at all you talk about the transfers, teams like Arsenal Football Club, Manchester City, Manchester United are all following up signatures of other teams. And today, if you at all you would look at also the other teams, Liverpool already also also in the chest. That is for the signature of Chiesa, as they already made inquiry in there. But will they sign it before? Will they sign the player that we're talking about in the names of Chiesa before the deadline? And this player also really plays for Italy in there. And while we did see Napoli also agreeing for a deal for McTominay, that means Manchester City would be allowing Napoli also really have this player in the names of McTominay in there. Meanwhile, Brighton also signed Celtics Ole. We did see that happening. Meanwhile, as well, we are seeing also the Eddie Nketiah deal also is almost to climax. Remember, the player in the names of Eddie Nketiah, a striker for Arsenal Football Club, is also linked with the move that is to Crystal Palace in there, as Crystal Palace have been also chasing the signature of this player in there. Could this deal be summarized before the end of the transfer season? We are all following up on that, and we shall be coming also to let you know of that. And that means we are going to be leaving the discussion aside, as many other players, as many other teams are also as well also interested in signing also many of their players already in the chase in there. And that means we are hoping that your team that you support It could be Arsenal, it could be Manchester United, it could be Manchester City, it could be Chelsea, it could be Liverpool. Sign the player that you actually need to also be included in your team in there, and that is where we are going to be doing the discussion aside as more and comprehensive details into the world of sports. I will be coming through from 2 to 3 p.m. with Linda Susie, who will also be in here, hopefully to give you what is making rounds in the world of sports. I step out. Until tomorrow, have a good day.